Y'all, I know that this season has been a bumpy ride so far, but we have finally made it to the merge and it is predictably chaotic. It's always wild when everyone gets together on the island for the first time, and this season is no exception. There's obviously going to be a lot to talk about today, but before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button below just so you can stay tuned as we continue through this wild ass season. Now, let's get started. So this episode kicks off with everyone getting news about the merge. They are still doing that whole mergatory thing where the players technically aren't merged even though they are. I don't know, it's not my favorite. I just kind of wish they would go ahead and give everybody their buffs now and then start the jury later down the line, but hey, whatever. But for now, everyone is just super excited to make it to such a big milestone in the game. Over on the Yanu tribe, it's looking like these three are actually pretty solid for now. They have the most tribal experience out of everybody else by far, and I really think going through the hell of all those tribal councils together is also a thing that made them a lot stronger. And on top of that, I feel like going into the merge with less numbers is actually a big advantage for a lot of people. So overall, I'd say things are looking pretty good for Yanu going in. On the opposite end, the Nami tribe has literally zero experience at tribal council, like they've barely even been tested in the game so far. But then there's also the fact that Tevin has an extra vote and Hunter has an idol, so they do kind of look like the stronger team going in. But we know that in reality, if you just peek behind the curtain, you would realize that these people can barely stand each other, okay?
I mean, realistically, we used to talk all the time in the beginning and now you barely talk to me, and that's just that's like, I'm not blind, so like, that's just reality.
I feel like we have not so much to talk about because Nami keeps winning.
And we can just talk to each other, like it doesn't have to be strategy all the time.
The Sega tribe is also looking pretty united going into the merge, except for Mariah, who we know was on the bottom of the vote last time. But you know, nobody in her tribe seems bitter about it. Nobody's pressing her, even Ben. It seems like everybody's just trying to make Mariah feel good so that she stays loyal to them. And once they all get merged together on the island, Sega is really gonna double down on this notion just so Mariah does not get recruited elsewhere. Now, I thought it was really funny how the Nami tribe pretty much does the exact opposite. I mean, they can't even pretend to play that whole loyalty, unity card because Venus is just blatantly throwing Tevin under the bus like immediately. Now, was this a smart move to make? No. But I don't care, I love the drama. That's why I watch the game. And I love, love, love watching a chaotic villain play. But here's the thing, if you want to be good at it, you can't be too sloppy with it. Based on the edit we saw, it doesn't seem like Venus really took the time to get to know the other players first or where they stood in the game before she started proposing all this random stuff. It just comes across as messy and sloppy, and it seems to really hurt Venus's reputation out there. Especially since she's going up against Tevin of all people, who is like the charisma king and could probably outcharm Venus any day of the week. Tevin is also covered by the Big Six alliance that Q made earlier in the season. Now, I love the idea of this alliance, but I just don't know how long it's gonna last realistically because of the Tim of it all. I just can't for the life of me figure out what type of game Tim is supposed to be playing out there. We see in the episode that Tim gets into a little bit of trouble with Q because even though Tim's saying that he really wants this alliance and he wants the idea of it, so far he's done absolutely nothing to foster it. He's also claiming that Moriah is his #1 ally, even though she does not feel the same way at all. I mean, she put him at #3. I wasn't thinking that Tim was long for this game anyway, but this scene just showed me that he is way more on the outs than even I realized. So overall, there are just a lot of ways this thing can go as the group heads to the next immunity challenge. They all draw rocks for teams, and it is immediately looking ugly because this matchup is just not equal at all. I mean, one team is just clearly physically stacked compared to the other. Tiffany is in the middle, so she gets to choose which side she wants to be on, and she makes the obvious choice here. I'll say if I was ever in a situation like this, my strategy would be to choose whichever team has the puzzle person on it. There is a super fan puzzle person that is cast every single season nowadays, and this year, it's Hunter. Plus, Tiffany's other Yanu members are all on that one team anyway, so it just makes sense from a numbers perspective for her to go with them. The challenge kicks off, and despite the matchup being so uneven, the game is actually pretty neck and neck towards the end. But of course, this is Survivor, and the puzzle is still the great equalizer, so the team with Hunter wins. And with that, only half the players are eligible to be voted out now, and none of them are on the Yanu tribe, meaning that this pretty much comes down to a battle between Sega versus Nami. It's pretty much a race to see who is going to fold and throw one of their team members under the bus. The Sega tribe is still super resilient. They still want to band together and pledge loyalty and all that good stuff until the bitter ends. But that might actually be their worst mistake. You see, all that loyalty shit is actually gonna make everyone want to vote out somebody from Sega specifically. And out of everybody, Mariah is on the bottom, so she would be the one to go. I mean, I get why the other Sega members may want to get rid of Mariah at this point, but I just don't see how she's a big threat to everybody else on the island. I mean, we're told in the edit it's just because she really likes Aubrey and people might see her as a super fan because of that, but honestly, I just think Q was being a little dramatic.
And for you to say Aubrey is your favorite player, that is dangerous because Aubrey was setting up people left and right. And if Mo thinks she's gonna set me up, Mo can cancel Christmas.
Q, actually, let's stop and talk about Q because his edit has been low-key insane. You can just tell that he's naturally very straightforward and militaristic, but to me, it's kind of funny seeing people take stuff like this super seriously, so I just think it's entertaining. Some people may find it annoying, but he is damn good TV, you gotta admit.
But I have to make sure Venus understands. I put my game on the line and told you exactly what is gonna happen. If you're gonna be ungrateful, I'll send your ass back to Canada.
So Mariah is in some trouble of her own, but on the other hand, Venus is also a huge liability for that Nami side. I mean, she's such an easy and willing number for the other side to pull right now, but at the same time, they can all see, like, she's making it very apparent that she cannot be trusted. It also doesn't come across like she's strategic at all because she just keeps on switching up her targets. I mean, she's throwing out Tevin's name, Charlie's name. She's throwing out every name except for the one that she should be throwing out, which is Mariah. I mean, if I was playing Survivor, I would try my hardest to throw out as little names as possible. I don't want the smoke. But hey, not Venus. It seems like the vote is up in the air between these two ladies as the group heads off to Tribal. And it's immediately pretty clear that Mariah is cooked because she is up there scrambling. She's finally starting to play the game a little bit and throw the Sega tribe under the bus, but it is just way too late, girl. Like, what are you doing? The votes are read and Mariah is voted out pretty much unanimously. Yikes. It seemed like it was her loyalty to her tribe that got her voted out, but the thing is, she really wasn't wrong to be loyal to them. I mean, they really did protect her and held off from saying her name, but it was that very protection that made her a target. It's just a crazy catch-22 that I didn't see coming. I mean, I saw Mariah leaving eventually, I just didn't think she'd go out like that. I do kind of still wonder if voting out Venus would have been the better move here. I mean, after all, if Mariah jumps ship and you vote out Venus, then that removes a number from Sega and Nami at the same time. But I do like all of the chaos and calamity that Venus brings. I think she's a pretty good Survivor villain, even though she's maybe not the best player. The streets are actually saying that Venus would make a great 0 vote finalist, but of course, I want to know what you all have to say. Do you think voting out Mariah was the best move, or would you rather it been someone else instead? Let me know in the comments below. Also, now that we're officially merged, let me know who your winner picks are. Overall, I think Tiffany, Q, Tevin, and Charlie are in the best spots right now, but of course, anything's possible. Of course, I'll be back next week to update you all as we continue through this wild season, but until next time, peace.